Storytelling may be the most effective way to sustain a close relationship with our students when teaching online. When we retell stories from the world's oral cultures and then do creative response activities with our students, we can use the webcam, the online chat, breakout rooms and digital recordings to humanize the online learning experience. A young man from a small provincial town, a man without independent wealth, without powerful family connections and without a university education, moved to London in the late 1580s and, in a remarkably short time, became the greatest playwright not of his age alone but of all time. How was this achievement of magnitude made? How did Shakespeare become Shakespeare? Wild is a story about a feral girl. No one remembered how she came to the woods, but all knew it was right. She is taught to talk by bird, to eat by bear and to play by fox. All live happily together in the forest, free from human restriction, until one day the child is caught in a trap by two hunters and taken back to civilization. Most of my experience as a storyteller has involved sharing a physical environment, whether in classrooms, communal or outdoor spaces, and I was not certain before the pandemic that it would be possible to transfer and adapt so many aspects of this creative and communal activity to online learning. The story notes for Wild are aimed at children of primary school age. However, picture books operate on many levels, satisfying children of different ages and with different language abilities, so it is difficult to be specific about age level suitability. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity. Alternatively, you can give students a few minutes to write a summary of the story they are imagining in the chat and to post their summaries all together at the same moment when you signal that they can. Students can listen to or read other students' predictions. You will need a copy of the picture book. Study the picture book and the story notes carefully and decide which key vocabulary you may need to pre-teach before you read the story aloud, but only pre-teach vocabulary that may be difficult for children to work out the meaning of themselves. Modern buildings have to achieve certain performance requirements, at least to satisfy those of building codes, to provide a safe, healthy, and comfortable environment. However, these conditioned environments demand resources in energy and materials, which are both limited in supply, to build and operate. However, picture books operate on many levels, satisfying children of different ages and with different language abilities, so it is difficult to be specific about age level suitability. A picture book can be used as a springboard for a wide variety of related language and learning activities. Study the picture book and the story notes carefully and decide which key vocabulary you may need to pre-teach before you read the story aloud, but only pre-teach vocabulary that may be difficult for children to work out the meaning of themselves. The story notes are divided into 3 stages: before reading, reading the story, and after reading. The numbers on US student debt, after all, are truly staggering. The average 2015 US university graduate who took out loans to help pay for tuition enters the workforce with $35,000 in student debt. In the US, total student debt exceeds $1.15 trillion, dwarfing, for instance, the nation's credit card debt. Certain types of methodology are more suitable for some research projects than others. For example, the use of questionnaires and surveys is more suitable for quantitative research, whereas interviews and focus groups are more often used for qualitative research purposes. Technology has already transformed our century. Smartphones, cloud computing, social media and video conferencing are only a few of the major innovations that have exploded onto the scene. They have changed our lives and completely changed the ways in which we communicate and access information and learning. A smoking ban is a public policy that includes criminal laws and health regulations that prohibit smoking in certain public places and workspaces. There are varying definitions of smoking employed in this legislation. The strictest definitions define smoking as being the inhalation of any tobacco substance, while the loosest define smoking as possessing any lit tobacco product. Electric vehicles have arrived. With technology led by Tesla and all of the world's major car manufacturers following along behind, electric vehicles are now a common sight on the roads of most developed countries. Yet the situation in less developed countries is rather different. The only African country to have started the change to electric vehicles is South Africa. Welfare has a special political meaning to the United States because it refers to how the poor receives financial aid. In comparison, welfare services are regarded as a universal right in other regions like Europe, where it is believed that all citizens should be able to obtain a minimal level of social support and well-being. The remote teaching tips in this collection have been developed by the British Council to meet the needs for support that teachers have expressed to us. They cover the wide variety of ways in which teachers carry out remote teaching, especially where internet connectivity and access to more expensive devices are limited. They help with aspects of teaching. Yet in 2020, teachers have also had to face another unexpected challenge, the COVID-19 pandemic. We know many children have missed learning during school closures and too many lack the conditions for remote learning. But the more that teachers can provide remote teaching, the better. If the initiative brings positive results, the school will encourage the production of more such products from recyclable waste. The school also has a strong industry interface program supporting students to get exposure to reputed industries. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, called the left and right hemispheres. Each hemisphere provides a different set of functions, behaviors, and controls. The right hemisphere is often called the creative side of the brain, while the left hemisphere is the logical or analytic side of the brain. New research published in the journal Scientific Reports highlights the intricate relationship between depression and sense of smell. The study found that participants' symptoms of depression dropped as their odor identification improved, particularly among those with an impaired sense of smell. They found ways to use phones and social messaging to engage students and families. They created worksheets students could do at home, created activities for social messaging platforms, and learned by experience and with colleagues how to teach remotely. Many people are under the impression that the water which comes out of a plant is clean. This is a common misconception. The function of a plant is to make the water cleaner, but it's not clean enough to drink. It could be used in irrigation. What a plant is trying to do is simply speed up a process that would naturally occur given more time. Global warming is defined as an increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. This trend began in the middle of the 20th century and is one of the major environmental concerns of scientists and governmental officials worldwide. The changes in temperature result mostly from the effect of increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
Cotton is a plant that produces fibers, which are used to make clothes and other products, like towels, carpets or sheets. Clothes made out of cotton are especially light and comfortable.
Many classes and school systems all over the world are taking steps to offer lessons online. However, stepping into the digital world overnight can be challenging for many teachers. Some teachers find the idea of remote teaching quite overwhelming, but it can be an excellent opportunity to develop new skills.